Hi guys, welcome to another video, and today I'm going to be reviewing a very affordable 2x magnification lens. The lens I'm talking about is the Pergear 60mm f2.8 Mark II lens. As I said, it goes to 2x magnification, which for a lens at this price point is very good. Now I'm just going to talk through the kind of specs of this lens before I get into testing it. One thing to mention about this lens is that it only works with Sony E mount, Micro Four Thirds mount, Nikon Z mount, Fuji X mount, Nikon L mount, and Canon RF mount. So one thing that I don't really like about this lens is that the aperture ring is declicked, which basically means you can move it smoothly. And this is typically good for video work, but as you know, I do photo, so I'm not really keen on it. Because when I'm taking photos, I want to keep my aperture the same. I might accidentally knock it out of whatever aperture I'm in, and that could ruin a shot possibly. And then on the focus ring, as you can see, it goes to 2x magnification, and it goes all the way to infinity as well. So if you want to use this for anything other than macro, then you can do that. In terms of weight, as you can see, it's quite big. It's build quality wise, it's very solid. It feels like it's all made of metal, and that does mean this lens weighs about 600 grams, whereas my Olympus, which I usually use, is quite plasticky, very small, and it's about 185 grams, I believe. Right, I think that's enough talking. It's now time to go out in the field and see what this lens can do. Alright, so I'm out in the field now, testing the lens. Just found a few crane flies chilling here. It's really dewy this morning. It is like late September now, so less bugs sort of around, less bug activity, but I'll try and get as many bugs as I can. If I don't get as many bugs, I'll be testing this lens on other subjects. But right now, I've got a crane fly just chilling here. It looks almost dead. I think he's just that covered in dew, he can't move. Now to start off with, I want to show 2:1. So I'm on 2:1 now. I'm going to use f8. I might use f11 if I need to, but f8 should be good. And I'm going to use ISO 400 just because it gets really dark at this magnification. 1/8 on the flash is too dark. You've seen my other videos, I usually shoot a 1:1 and use like a Rainox or something. With that sort of setup, I don't have to use such a high flash power, but with this setup, I'm having to use quite a high flash power. Now, because this lens is manual, that means you can't use the automated bracketing that comes with Olympus cameras. That usually only works with select lenses like the Olympus 60mm, because it has to electronically talk to the camera to do that. And this is a fully manual lens, obviously. So yeah, I took a few 2:1 shots there at f8, 1/4 on the flash, ISO 400 and 1/200 shutter speed. Let me get one at 1:1. Yeah, there's a bit of a problem with this setup that I've got today. So when I turn the focus thing, it's turning the diffuser. Cool, there's 1:1 on this lens. Right, so I just found a black and yellow ladybird here. Again, I think I'm gonna try f11 for this one. See what f11 looks like at 2:1. So yeah, because I'm on f11, I'm gonna go 1/4, but just a tiny bit brighter. It's sort of in between 1/4 and 1/2 on the flash. And again, I'm at ISO 400. Hopefully I don't disturb him. Alright, so I've got a few decent shots there at f11, but so far, judging from the back of my camera, the sharpness is looking on par with like my 60mm Olympus so far. And for the price point of 150 quid, like, that's an absolute bargain. So I've got a crane fly here. As you can see, it's bobbing about a bit. I think that's because I'm holding on. It's on the end of a stinging nettle, so that doesn't help. And my diffuser's sort of hitting the stinging nettle. Right, I think I've got one in focus. It's really hard to tell then. Good thing about shooting flash is when things are moving like that, the flash is actually what freezes the motion rather than the shutter speed. Alright, so I've done a few bug photos, but obviously there's some of you out there that don't do bug photos, so I'm going to be testing this lens without the flash and see what it can do basically. So I've got some flowers here. I'm no flower expert. I know these are common. I should probably know the name. Are they like, they're like daisies, aren't they? No. I'm going to take this diffuser off just because it's a bit annoying. So I'm going to try f5.6 first, because I feel like that's a decent aperture for any sort of macro really. Just means you won't get a really thin focus plane, you'll get something in focus. I've got a nice little flower here, got a bit of sunlight on it, a bit of dew. I must say that the focus ring is quite stiff. If you're doing video with this, I think it's quite a nice focus ring for video, but it's really designed for photography really. Yeah, so there's f5.6. I'm going to try f4 now. I'm going to try f2.8. Now I usually don't shoot at f2.8, but that's when I'm shooting bugs. I rarely do macro like this. Actually, I'll take some images normally, like focused, like non-macro, so you can see if there's any vignetting. Right, so I just shot that at f11. Yeah, I don't think there's any vignetting really, which for a cheap lens is really impressive. Yeah, so before I end this video, I just want to kind of give my final thoughts on this lens. So before I even actually picked up the lens and tested it, my initial thoughts were that the build quality was really good for a brand that I'd never really heard of, and the price of the lens. And then upon testing, I thought it might have some issues, but really there's like no vignetting. The sharpness is up to standard with my Olympus 60mm. It goes to 2x magnification, and yeah, there's only little problems like the aperture on the lens is declicked, which is only a minor issue. Build quality is great. Like, honestly, what can I say? It's a really good lens for its price point. I'll say the only thing I'm kind of missing with this lens is that it's not electronic, so I can't use the Olympus auto bracketing mode, which I've kind of relied on a lot recently. I've come to really enjoy using that. And obviously this is a fully manual lens, so it's not going to have any of that electronic goodness. If you do get a camera to work with this lens, I'll suggest getting like a used Olympus OMD Mark 1 or something, or maybe a Mark 2 if you have a bit more money. It'll be a lot cheaper than getting a Canon RF camera. But yeah, I wish it did work with Canon EF mount, because it'd be a great option for beginners then. They'd be able to use their cheap DSLRs with this lens and then be able to learn macro using the camera that they've already got. Hopefully they make this lens mountable for Canon EF in the future. But if you are a beginner and you have one of the systems that works with this lens, then I'd highly recommend getting this, because it's only 150, 160 quid, and at that price point I've never seen such great image quality and 2x magnification. Yes, that's pretty much everything said about this lens. I'll leave a link in the description so you can go check it out and maybe buy one. But yeah, that's it for today's video. So if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.